And here's the video review for Transformers Animated, the Takara version of Hot Rodimus, Rodimus Minor, Rodimus Prime, whatever they're calling him over there. As you can see, he's much more maroon and purple. He's much shinier than the original Takara version Hot Rod, which we'll compare it with here in a minute. Also, this crossbow seems to hang and attach a little bit more solidly on this version, but I know that's just a quality control thing because I've had a couple of the American version pass through my hands, and one stuck just fine and one was loose, so it really all depends on what you get, but this one actually does stay attached fairly well. So that's something, even though it does look a little silly with a crossbow on top of the car. But again, that just pops right off. The missiles do fire out, just like you saw before. The car itself, like I said, he's got the red Autobot symbol as opposed to the silver one on top of Hot Rod. And he's not quite as purple as he's looking on camera. He's a little bit lighter than the camera's making him look right now. This makes him look very purple, and he really is more of a magenta-y type color. So, but yeah, the transformation is exactly the same. So I'll pop these out. Get his feet out here. Bring the whole, attach the whole leg assembly. I'll bring that down, rotate the waist, snap those on, flip up his feet, push the engine blocks up into his, or the muffler blocks up into his thighs. I'm going to go back here, lift this up, flip the head up and around, like that. You want to flip the engine here on his chest in, flip his Autobot symbol, fold in the wheels, and that should snap down, and then, of course, plug that onto the back there. Bring the arms up and plug them into the sides. And here's where I'm going to vary a little bit from where I showed him before. Bring the hands out. Actually, that's still normal. I like to rotate it so the pipes are on the underside just because it gives him a little bit more range of movement in his arms as opposed to kind of limiting the range of motion right here. But yeah, last time I showed him with the spoiler up. But basically, if you take his shoulders here, they're on a ball joint and a hinge. If you lower that hinge down so his shoulders sit a little, like here's a shoulder all the way up, and here's a shoulder if you lower it. That means you can actually flip this piece up, flip this whole piece down, and then instead of having this really high spoiler up behind his neck, you can flip this down, and then this piece kind of pops up and rotates, just like that. And then you can have the spoiler still showing behind his head, but not quite as awkwardly way up here, like on the upper back. As it sits more like it should, I think, and it looks a little bit more true to his character model to have the lower shoulders and the lower spoiler. And since we're going to do a comparison with animated Rodimus anyway, let me flip this back up to show you the difference. Okay, there we go. There's Hot Rod with the spoiler up and the shoulders up, like that. And then here's Hot Rod with the lower spoiler, which still looks good. You can still see it over his shoulders. It just doesn't look quite as awkward. You can look a slightly higher shot so you can really see what the difference is. It looks more like the spoilers are coming up off his back, like on the old toy, as opposed to kind of hovering behind his head there. So it's really up to you. But I think Drew Iden first pointed that out to me. Or I think he first showed the pics. And again, you can see the difference here between the two figures. One of the things that does stand out is these ankle pieces are a slightly different plastic on both figures, but it matches a lot better on the regular animated one. They're unpainted on this, so it's shiny here, shiny feet, and then just this kind of bare purple here in the middle. So it's really up to you on what your preference is. Otherwise, like the figures, both just as solid, built the same. He's got some gold instead of yellow, and he's got the orange. Looks like it's the exact same orange. He's just got some shiny maroon paint over this slightly more purple plastic. Well, I guess it's a lot more purple, but it really, like I said, it really is coming across a lot more purple on the camera than it really is. It's a little bit more of a lighter reddish purple than a deep purple like you're seeing here. And of course you can hold the crossbow just like with a bow and arrow, whatever you want to call it, energon bow. Yeah. Just a matter of getting it to clip on. There we go. Now, of course I did it inside out, but whatever. Oh, come on. Yeah, I was also going to do the TF Source exclusive World's Smallest Comic Dino Robot set and World's Smallest Shockwave, but they got here and Shockwave's arm joint was frozen and snapped. And even after it snapped, it wouldn't move. I mean, so it was busted. And then my Dino Robot set, one, came without any accessories. Apparently they're supposed to be like accessories like the swords and the weapons, and more importantly, the hands for Slag and Snarl are separate pieces and did not come in the set, as well as the fact that Snarl's head, half his Dino Robot head, had snapped off the plastic in the package, so as soon as I pulled him out, his whole head flopped to one side, and they're supposed to split in the middle and flip to either side to transform him, and the whole head just flipped to one side because it had cracked off the plastic. So I'm waiting to see what I can do about that. I'd like to at least get the hands and weapons before I review them. The other three were great. Grimlock, I mean, like, Slag's great except for the fact he's missing hands. And Grimlock, Sludge, and Swoop were all really cool. And it's a shame that Snarl looked cool except for his head snapped off. And Shockwave, again, also really cool, really neat. Busted before I could even mess with it because I don't know if it was paint or just a plastic flash or whatever, but there's the two little hinges that rotate out that the shoulders are on. One of them is just won't move. It doesn't move. This one's real smooth, and I can see how it's supposed to work, and this one just is wedged. So we'll see what I can do about getting those replaced or fixed, or I'm not buying another set, so they may just go in the garbage. But anyway, there is Transformers Takara Animated Rodimus.